64 seconds ahead of the Bardet group and 5 minutes 37 seconds ahead of Richie Porte. Team Sky, the winners of the Tour de France for the past 2 years, I think today are losing it.
Back with the leaders, 4 kilometers to go. That's still going to take them a good 12 minutes to get to the finishing line, and Vincenzo Nibali looks very calm here. This is a good move, and we were looking here, Phil, as we look at BMC's TJ Van Garderen.
4 kilometers to go, as this is Thibaut Pinot still trying to get rid of Alejandro Valverde, who won't help him in the chase but keeps attacking him. Has come back into the second slipstream, but the cars in front, that is the group of Manchka, Nibali and Koenig. The gap is only a few seconds.
You know, the man we're looking at in the white jersey there, Romain Bardet, Phil, he's only 23 years of age. It's amazing to see these youngsters now coming through in what really is a renaissance of French cycling. And of course, TJ Van Garderen, we've talked about him for many, many years as the new American on the block. Well, he's only 25 years of age. He's got a huge career ahead of him. Back with the leaders.
Tomorrow they say no engine at all. We go over the Col de Lautrec and the giant Col d'Ivoire tomorrow before we finish in Vesoul. These legs are going to ache tomorrow. They've thrown everything at everybody. And now the yellow jersey, the leader of the tour, he took the lead for the first time in Sheffield on day 2. He lost it for 1 day, grabbed it back. TJ Van Garderen trying to stay in this race now with the young rider of Romain Bardet.
Well, he's getting into a rhythm here. You can see it looks like a character to the side of the road there as he waves his flags nice and high. But TJ Van Garderen, I think the Alps and the inclines of the Alps suit the American rider. The inclines we're looking at here are about 6 and 7% the gradient, but he is working extremely well now. Frank Schleck is having a good day there because he is with Jean-Christophe Perrault, number 81.
Is this the rebirth or renaissance of Frank Schleck, who's now the champion of Luxembourg? His brother Andy out with a crash early in the opening week of the Tour. Here goes the yellow jersey, the rhythm is incessant, and the 2 youngsters can't keep up with him here. This is a solitary ride on the first day in the Alps. Nibali is going to the top and he's going to win his 3rd stage.
This is not an attack, this is just power. This is just riding the other 2 riders off your back wheel in a situation like this. So those are the 3 leaders, and we're now back with 4th and 5th place on their own. Alejandro Valverde is 26 seconds behind the leader. They've got with him the young Frenchman Thibaut Pinot, just 24 years of age. A little bit further back it's TJ Van Garderen and the youngster who leads the best young rider competition at the start of the day, and that may well change, Romain Bardet.
Remember, he's still got the Pyrenees to come. It won't be his 3rd stage, and if he gets it, it'll be his 2nd. He started the ball rolling in Sheffield with yellow, but out of the 13 days of racing, he's worn this jersey for 11 of them by the end of this day. Frank Schleck now and Jean-Christophe Perrault back up to the leader, the tête de la course, the head of the race, and Nibali is throwing it all down to these riders. We've watched the wall of attrition on the climb, he's watched the wall of attrition, and he's determined now to finish it all off.
He just wants to get as much as safety as he can because he knows any day you can have a bad day. Technically he knows, and tactically he knows that anything can happen on the long roads leading away from the Alps right the way down to the Pyrenees. So at any opportunity he too wants to try and stretch his advantage over everybody else. Currently he's pulling 34 seconds away from Alejandro Valverde, who I would think he's rather concerned about.
The gap is opened up now, as Paul said. It's 34 seconds back to Valverde. Pinot now the losing ground on the front 3. Bardet and Van Garderen are about the same distance behind the riders racing for 4th and 5th place. This is Frank Schleck, champion of Luxembourg. Jean-Christophe Perrault, the really aging but terrific French cyclist. He's 36 of them, I believe, just now. This is the leader. The British flag's waving as Nibali goes forward.
Yes, well, he will add, if he stays away here, this will become his 3rd victory after his victory to the summit of the Planche de Belleville, because he was extremely dominant there. He won the stage into Sheffield, so this man is really looking to open up the account in the Tour de France this year and open up the time gaps as well. 6:09 though, Phil, back to Richie Porte. So Richie Porte is having a terrible day. He must be very happy to have a teammate up alongside him, because that 6:09 could be much, much bigger than that.
Well, if you're a dominant leader of the Tour, we've seen plenty of them in years gone by, They pick the big stages and they show they're the best by winning those stages. And with the climb in Sheffield and La Planche, it's going to be now his win here on Champs. He's got 2.5 kilometres to survive.
Well, you know, sometimes you have to think it's tough being an Italian cyclist, Phil, because as an Italian cyclist, they always want you to ride the Giro d'Italia. It is their Grand Tour, but this man sacrifices his season on a number of occasions not to participate in the Giro d'Italia. He's won that race in the past, he's won the Vuelta a España, but he also knows how to not ride the Giro d'Italia, prepare for the Tour de France. The team criticised him in the early part of this year, saying he's got no form, he's not good anything at all, but then all of a sudden, just as we started with the National Championships 1 week before the start of the Tour, this man came right out on top.
We're coming up to 2 kilometres to go. The race leader of the Tour de France is leading the riders up to the finishing line. 43 seconds behind, you've got Alejandro Valverde and Thibaut Pinot, the Frenchman. The second chase is at 1 minute and 27 seconds. That's Laurens ten Dam, Romain Bardet, and the American TJ Van Garderen. There's an 11-rider bunch at 1 minute and 48, and then there's a couple of riders rolling at 6 minutes. And those two riders are Richie Porte and Nieves' teammate.
Well, Pinot on the front there in the dark blue jersey, he's riding into a spot of maturity here this afternoon. Phil, this is his 3rd participation in the Tour de France at just 24 years of age. I think he's a great star of the future, and it's so good after such a long time of the French not having much chance to arrive on the top end of the leaderboard, to have all these youngsters coming on. And I tell you, one man who was very proud of the French performances is, of course, Bernard Hinault, the last man to win the Tour de France. He won it on 5 occasions.
Under the 2 kilometre banner for Thibaut Pinot in the blue and Alejandro Valverde in the rest. It's time to remember that the last time that Vincenzo Nibali rode in the Tour de France was 2012. He finished there behind the 2 British riders from Sky, Sir Bradley Wiggins and Chris Froome. Wiggins not selected by his team this time around, and Chris Froome out on day 5. Logical result then.
I suppose logical, but the way he's done it is with panache so far. He came out, I mean, Phil, a leader, a man who's trying to win the Tour de France doesn't come out on stage 2 and try and grab the stranglehold of a race, but that's exactly what Vincenzo Nibali did when he won the stage down into Sheffield. A brave move which paid off.
This is TJ Van Garderen with the youngster from France, fighting to keep that white jersey, because the rider in front of him, the blue jersey of Thibaut Pinot, might be taking it off his shoulders tonight.
Well, the race situation currently, we look at the man in the yellow jersey extending his advantage over everybody else in this race. Leopold Koenig is just behind him. They're not too far. We just caught a quick glimpse of 2nd and 3rd place riders on the fold, Maschke and Koenig, but I don't think they're going to get themselves back to the yellow jersey this afternoon. A little bit further down the road is Frank Schleck and Jean-Christophe Perrault. This man, though, is, as they say in French, impérial.
But at the moment, Pinot is not going to get that white jersey away from the other Frenchman. They're 20 seconds apart on the road, and the other Frenchman's got a 41-second advantage. There he is. He's tongued out as he sits on the back of a man that won that white jersey once in the Tour de France, TJ Van Garderen. Laurens ten Dam has done a ride today. I thought he was beginning to crack a couple of days ago, but there he is with those 3. This man not telling us anything with his face as they come up. The 2 are at it, but we are 1 kilometre to go. And the Maillot Jaune of the Tour de France, who has won twice already, is going to increase his lead here. He's now looking for 900 metres. Can those 2 behind revive?
Well, they're coming very, very quickly. They're being led out there by the man in the dark blue jersey, Leopold Koenig. If you remember, he won a fantastic stage last year up to the summit of Mount Diablo in the Amgen Tour of California. He knows how to go very quickly over the final few hundred meters. So these 2 riders are looking at 4th and 5th place on the road. Thibaut Pinot, the youngster from France.
There's Zabeldi in the black jersey, done another good ride, the aging Spanish rider, while Frank Schleck has come to the back with 1:61. Under 1 kilometre to go now for the next small group of riders. Here they are, Valverde and Pinot. No one in sight up the front though. These 2 are racing now to finish on the places if they can.
53 seconds is their deficit on the yellow jersey of Vincenzo Nibali. They're in 4th and 5th on the road. This man is learning the trade at 24 years of age. This man knows all about it. He's 34 years of age, and he's had a very successful year so far. But this man is cruising all over the Tour de France this afternoon.
600 metres to the top of the climb here on a beautiful sunny day in the Alps, and it's reflecting that sunshine is the maillot jaune of the Tour de France. Vincenzo Nibali is not leaving very much the imagination anymore as he dances towards the finish. Goes the zip, ready for the two-arm salute. It's been a brilliant day out for Vincenzo Nibali. He increases his lead in the Tour de France tonight.
Seems quite interminable these last few hundred metres for this man, but here he goes.
There he goes. Vincenzo Nibali conquers the Tour de France for a third time, and the yellow jersey is even safer on his shoulders now. Manchka comes over in second, Koenig in third. A great result for the Etapa Enduro rider, and justifies the selection of that team as a wild card into the Tour de France. Thibaut Pinot, as he comes up to the line, they're all losing time, but Valverde should be okay for second overall tonight. He's going to attack Thibaut Pinot, having followed it up the mountain, and the Frenchman should have been ready for that move. He'll even lose a second.
Well, just waiting for the clock to stop, but you know, Alejandro Valverde is a great finisher up at the top of this climb. He's got himself to the top, and he's racing for seconds here this afternoon as he stops it on the line. That's 48 seconds.